Hello and welcome to another episode of The Average EV. Today we're going to be talking about where you can charge your EV. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. So welcome to the new series, EV Beginners. This is going to be the first of many beginner videos that I'll be making. I made some a few years ago, but I decided to completely redo the series. And today we're going to talk about where can you charge your EV. So maybe you just bought an EV, maybe you're thinking about buying an EV and you're just wondering, well, where am I going to fill it up? I know where the gas station is, but where can I fill up my EV? So in this video, I'm going to quickly go over where you can charge your EV, how to find chargers, and then we're going to call it a day. All right, so basically there are two, you can count it, three, I guess, different places that you can charge. So for the majority of people, you're either going to be able to charge at home if you have that capability, or you're going to be charging out in public. Additionally, some private businesses have some private charging. So maybe you work for a company, they have some charging that's available just to the employees. That might be an option for you as well. For me and my family, we charge at home. We have a house, we have a garage, and we have chargers in the garage. So that makes charging super easy for us. And the majority of our charging happens at home. It's really convenient, it's easy. There is a little bit of upfront cost to get the proper outlet or to get your charger hardwired into your panel, but after that it is smooth sailing, super easy, and I highly recommend. However, not everyone has the ability to charge at home and they need to rely upon the public charging network. So when you're out charging in public, you pretty much can either do DC fast charging or you can do level 2 AC charging. Now, level 2 AC charging is slow. The majority of options you're going to find out in the public are going to top off at around 11 kilowatts. Maybe we'll start to see some higher speed level 2, but for the most part, that would max out around 19.2 kilowatts if you were to find that, but those are pretty rare to find the fastest ones. And then with DC fast charging, that is going to charge your car much faster. The majority of the infrastructure is moving towards faster, so it'll likely meet the needs of your car. However, like the station I'm at right now, there are some lower powered ones. This one is a 50 kilowatt charger, which won't charge my car as fast as, say a 400 kilowatt charger, which can give me the full 150 kilowatts this can take. But it'll still do a pretty good job. And if it's located at a grocery store or something like that, it's very likely if I plug in, go to the grocery store, come back, I will be done charging. So I hope you all got that under your belt now. So you got level 2, slower, and DC fast charging. Some people call it level 3, but that's technically not accurate. So those are your options. So I wanted to show everyone level 2 and DC fast charging. So this is a DC fast charger, an old one and a slow one, but it's a DC fast charger. And here it has this sort of plug. This is called a CCS plug, and this works with many vehicles. However, North America is transitioning to NACS. I'll overlay a video of NACS. NACS is the port that is typical of a Tesla vehicle, and that is going to be installed on more and more vehicles until we finally phase out CCS. But you might already have a CCS or be buying a used vehicle that has CCS. Now here is an old school CHAdeMO. This really is for Nissan Leafs, a couple Mitsubishi products. I think Kia Soul, Kia e-Soul has this too. This is an old standard that will be gone eventually. A lot of charge point operators aren't even installing those anymore. So that is kind of your DC fast charging options. And an older one. I'll overlay some newer ones. You can see maybe what an Iona station looks like, or an Electrify America station looks like, or even a Tesla supercharger. Now, let's move over here. This is a level 2 charger. They typically look like this. They typically have handles like this. This is called J1772. You don't really need to know that, but it looks like kind of part of a DC fast charging cable, the top part. And it also looks like a home charger, maybe that came with your car. And this is going to do that level 2 option for you out in public. Just plug it in, activate it. If you have a Tesla or a car that has the NACS port, you might need an adapter. I have links down below if you need to buy any adapters, and you can use that there. Typically these cost a little less, typically they don't. It really depends where you go. This one is 7.2 kilowatt AC max, and that's obviously gonna be slower than, you know, this one can do 50 kilowatt, or some of the higher power ones can do 400 kilowatt. But it still gets the job done, and maybe this person works here at our government building and it's perfect for them because it's at their workplace. For me, this isn't really an ideal place for me to charge because there's nothing to do. It's a government building, it's like a detention center, it's the Board of Education building, and some other government building over there. So not ideal, but you know, it can work for some depending upon where you work. So here's my home charging setup. My wife usually uses the Electron. The EVco is long, has a nice 25-foot long cable that goes out, charges my Equinox, and that works out for us. We also have a Neo charge here, so we can actually use one outlet for two, and this will shut one charger off while one charges. Then when this finishes, it'll send the power to this. So that's a nice little solution for our home charging, not having to have two runs or to have to run two separate cables to the breaker box. And then, you know, here's that J1772. We saw that at the level 2 in the public, and I was talking about an adapter. Maybe you have a Tesla. So here's a J1772. Here is the pretty common Tesla adapter. And then you can put this on, sorry, I'm doing everything one-handed right here. Ugh. You can put this on, and there you go. You can turn J1772 into Tesla. They also have the reverse, where if you have a Tesla adapter, a Tesla charger, you can adapt it to go to J1772. I have one of those. I have the A to Z one, which is really nice, and you can get that and use that for your car if you want as well. Now, where can you find these things? Well, it really depends. If you have an EV that has a pretty good infotainment system, like I do with the Equinox, and the ID4 is okay too, you will actually be able to find it in your infotainment system. I will show you all mine a little bit now. It's very simple to find. Some cars, it's a little bit harder, but you can find charging and, you know, figure out where you want to charge. It just really depends. So I would recommend if you're still looking at EVs, really dig into the infotainment to see how easy it is to find charging when you need to charge your car. So what I want to do is flip the camera around and show you all how my infotainment works. All right, everybody, so here's my infotainment. It is based on Android Automotive, which can be found in pretty much every GM vehicle, some Volvo and Polestar vehicles, maybe a few others, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. If you have an Android Automotive system, it's actually pretty nice, and Google does a really nice job of showing you chargers. So let me show you a couple things first. Here you can see these little icons. If it's just a plug like that, it's gonna be a slow charger or a level 2 charger. Shows you how many are there and the availability depending upon the charge point operator. Then you might see something here that has fewer, sorry, 2 lightning bolts, and it has a fast charger. So that's the one I'm at right now, right there. I've not quite plugged in yet. And you could charge there, click start, and your car will navigate you. Works super easy like that. Additionally, if I wanted to find a charger, I could click here and it'll show me all the charging stations. Now this I have set to Tesla Supercharger right now. If I wanted to, I could turn that off and it'll show me everything that's available. And there we go. That one's out of service, so I won't accidentally go there. This one shows there's been some issues. So a really nice interface if you happen to have this. I'm not gonna dig too much into this because obviously not everyone who's watching this video might have this system. Additionally, in my car, under the charging menu, and this might be true of your car if your car has a charging menu, it displays some charging options and I can click on it and it'll bring in the details. It's taking a little bit of time. Okay, well that took an eternity, but here it shows station info, station photos. That's a really old photo. That's not even the right place. That's funny. And then, oh, this is actually a different one. It's down that way. That's fine. And then if you click here, it'll actually take you straight to there and you can navigate there, which is great. No, it is saying it's this one. That's kind of funny. Anyways, so that is found in many cars. It might look a little bit different, but it'll at least show you some options. You click there. Maybe it sends it to your navigation. Maybe it doesn't, but you'll have to kind of explore your car and figure out what works there. The last thing I want to talk about with infotainment, many cars have what's called built-in route planning. So say if I want to go somewhere, so let's go to, let's say we want to go to Kennedy Space Center, you put it in and it automatically adds charging stops. Many EVs can do this. Tesla was really one of the first to do it and do it really well. All the GM vehicles or Android automotive vehicles will do this. Other cars do it, but not as well. And some don't do it at all. So really, again, when you go to look at a car, see if it does it. If your car doesn't do this, I have a solution for you, but you'll have to wait a little bit longer in the video to see what that is. So here I can look, it shows me all of my chargers. I have Tesla Supercharger selected now, but I could certainly change that if I wanted to. Or if I click that, I think it might reroute it without just Tesla Superchargers. Yep, adds in everything and hopefully makes the most efficient route. So that's super cool. And actually, hold on, I want to change it back so I don't forget. All right, so that is one way that you can find chargers. So if your infotainment isn't like mine and it doesn't have EV route planning, I can recommend something called a better route planner to you, also called ABRP, not AARP. That's a whole different thing. But anyways, a better route planner will connect to your car in a couple ways, and then it will plan a route for you. So you pick your car, you connect it, and then you can also pick like where you like to charge. You can pick at what state of charge you like to arrive at chargers. You can do a whole bunch of things with it, and it'll create a route, which is really, really nice. So you can connect via eNode for most of the auto manufacturers. I know ID4 and Equinox do eNode. And then that's basically like this like digital connection. You log in with your Chevy or Volkswagen or whatever account, and then it'll pull some data privately, securely from your car. Or you can get an OBD2 dongle. I have the VPeak. I've heard some people lately say that, and I did actually look and see that a Better Route Planner is not recommending this. I've never had an issue with it, so I don't know. It is one of the more affordable ones, but if you go into a Better Route Planner's website, they'll say which ones they recommend. But again, I have not had an issue with this with the Volkswagen ID4 or with the Chevy Equinox or the Kona electric, or I was in the BMW, no, the Mercedes-Benz, whichever one. I was in one, EQB. I haven't had issues, so I don't know. But anyways, this is what it looks like. It plugs into your OBD2 port, which is down below. You plug it in, and then you connect it to a Better Route Planner, and it'll pull direct data, battery, temperatures, stuff like that, and it will make a route plan for you. I'm pretty sure with the Better Route Planner, to use the OBD Bluetooth dongle, you'll actually need to have an account, but I think it's worth it if you're planning on going on a road trip. So get it for the road trip, and then you can cancel it if you want. But it's pretty affordable if I remember, so probably worth it if you plan on driving a lot. So that's what I would recommend for that. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip the camera around, show you all what it looks like on my car. You can also access a Better Route Planner on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, not Automotive, Auto, and that works nicely as well. And then I'll also overlay on the side what it looks like when you're using the phone app, and it's a really, really nice app. I enjoy using it. Just so you know, Rivian bought a Better Route Planner, so they own it, and it's gotten a lot better since Rivian purchased the app, so highly recommend. And just so I can say now, what I'm gonna do, I'll put in a trip to Disney World. No, Kennedy Space Center. Let's do Kennedy Space Center, and show you what happens there. In the navigation, not as detailed, but in the app, much more detailed, and shows you everything, and you can adjust things. So here is a Better Route Planner on my navigation. I just clicked on it, took me here. If you want to know, this is what the icon looks like. So here it is. Now I want to go to, sorry about that. Let's go to search. And let's go to, I could just click Merritt Island, but let's do Kennedy Space Center, Florida. There it is. So I click that. It's routing. I have Equinox selected. And there it is. Shows my route plan. Okay. If I want to look at stops, I don't know if it'll let me look at the stops. It will on the app. But that's fine. So here's all the routes. I'll click start driving. and then it'll immediately route me, gives the directions, where I'm going, shows the charger I'm going to is a 250 kilowatt charger, so I know it's a Tesla, shows my current state of charge because that's being pulled from my car, and then shows my arrival state of charge at 8%. Now you can set your arrival state of charge to whatever you want, 10, 20. I like lower just because you can go further, charges faster at the bottom, but that's totally up to you and you can do whatever you like. You can add waypoints if you want to do that. And what else is in here? Map display, settings, route options. So yeah, lots of stuff in there. Again, I don't want this to be all about a better route planner, but wanted to show you this was an option. And on the side here, I'll show you all what it looks like in the app. So another way you can find chargers is with apps. Now I'm not going to dig super deep into the apps, but I will name them so that you can hopefully find the chargers if you would want to. So the pretty big ones in the EV community are Plugshare. Plugshare is great because people will actually leave comments and it'll let you know kind of what's happening there, if things are working or not, you know, if it's safe or not, and that is a really good option. Another option that I really like is Chargeway. Chargeway, you actually put in your car and it will show you what chargers are best for your car. Obviously you can pick slower chargers, but it'll show you you know, whatever your max speed of your car is, it'll show you the max speed, which ones provide that speed for you, and then you can go there if you're always looking for the max charge. Then we can get down into some other ones. ChargePoint is kind of weird because they manufacture hardware and they run some of their own stations, but most of their stations are owned by other people, but they also roam with some other stations, so you can go into the ChargePoint app and you can actually find other chargers. Most notably, Ayana is a ChargePoint operator that's getting really popular. They roam and you can actually activate a charge with Ayana in the ChargePoint app, which is super cool. So there's that with kind of apps. I'm going to do a whole nother video on apps. Be on the lookout for that in a couple months maybe, but that'll be helpful. Then I just want to talk about, well, what ChargePoint operators are available. I could go and put together an exhaustive list, but I'm going to give you all the most common ones, and then I'm going to tell you the ones that I recommend the most. So, of course, we have Electrify America, we have the Tesla Supercharger Network, we have Ayana, we have BP Pulse, we have the Mercedes-Benz High Power Charging Network. We do have that ChargePoint network where it's people, you know, buy the hardware and then you can activate on the ChargePoint app. And those are pretty much the most popular. There are some growing regional ones like Red E. There is Francis Energy and a few others. Like I said, I could make a really long list, but those are kind of the big name ones you're likely to see. And maybe you'll be out and in your nav, you'll find something new and you can try that and maybe you'll like that. Now, the ones I recommend are Ayana and Mercedes-Benz High Power Charging Network. And then the third one I recommend is Tesla Supercharger Network. Normally I put that first, but the only problem is it doesn't work with all EVs. It works with most nowadays. There are a few that aren't on the network, but the biggest problem with that is you need to have an adapter. So you can get an adapter, which would be the NACS, N-A-C-S to CCS adapter, and you can charge there if you have a brand that is eligible. I'll put that on the screen right now so you can see if you have an eligible brand. But whenever you have to use an adapter, it's just not as good of an experience. But if you want to go cross country or do long distance trips, having the access to the Tesla Supercharger Network makes it easy and gives you confidence. Pretty much know you're going to be able to go wherever you want and be able to charge. So those are all the main CPOs that I would recommend for you to use. Some of them have apps, some of them don't have apps. Ayana doesn't have an app. Tesla Supercharger Network has an app. Electrify America has an app. I forgot one really big network, EVgo. EVgo has an app, and they actually have a really good app. They've been working on it over time, and it's a really nice app. I love the integration, and if you want to learn more about how EVs work, it will explain stuff to you, and if you don't, you can just ignore it. So I really like that app. But anyways, those are all the networks that I know about and would recommend to you all. You can do the EVgo, because again, I forgot about that one a little bit late. But again, I don't highly recommend that. The prices tend to be a little bit on the higher end, depending upon where you go. But with the Pilot Flying J kind of network they have built with EVgo. It's actually pretty decent, and you can get where you need to go. Just you might have to pay a little bit more if that's where you are planning on charging. Okay, so that was all about DC fast charging. Now let's talk a little bit about level 2 charging. This is really good charging. Hopefully, if it's maybe at your work or it's at places that you plan on being at for an extended period of time, like a grocery store, like a movie theater, like a shopping mall, you can plug in. It's not going to charge your car so fast that you have to go out, unplug it, and move it, but it will charge your car enough to hopefully recoup the energy it took you to get there. When I go to the aquarium with my son, there's a garage that has charging. I go there, I plug in, I charge up. I always get more than what it took me to get there, and then I can get home, and then maybe I don't even have to charge when I get home. So that's always nice to have that option available. Where can you find that? Like I said, you can find it in your nav. You can look for those level 2 chargers, or the ChargePoint app really is a good one for finding those level 2 chargers as well, because ChargePoint has a plethora of level 2 charging options. I have them, I've used them in many places to charge my EV, and it always works and has a really nice integration. When I went to Pittsburgh, I actually was able to use ChargePoint, and I think also in Disney World, maybe also Disneyland, there's some ChargePoint stuff. So anyways, that's another great app. Aside from that, you can look around, see like in those apps like Plugshare, what is available where you live. Maybe they have an app. There's a ton of them. Like right now I'm at EV Smart, but they sold the Switch, so you could get the Switch app. There's also EV Connect is another one that usually has some level 2. Blink usually has some level 2 stuff. So you can look for those apps. But like I said, I think starting with Plugshare, finding what's around you, finding what's at places that you want to go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Hopefully all of you found this helpful to start to get your brain thinking about where can I charge, starting to look for where you can charge, maybe if you haven't bought an EV yet, so that you have a plan, so that you can have a good EV ownership experience. Like I said at the top of the video, home charging is the best if you're able to do it, but if you can't charge at home, obviously having some sort of plan with public charging, be it regular DC fast charging or level 2 charging at work or at places you go, is going to be your best bet. Additionally, I think having an EV with a pretty good infotainment to show you or even just take you to those chargers, for example, with that route planning, it just takes me to where I need to go. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan about it. It even tells me when I should unplug. I think that's the best bet. And if you're a little bit nervous about charging, look for an EV that has a good route planner, like any of the GM products, like Volvo, like Polestar, like Tesla. I'm trying to think of other ones that have really good. I think Rivian's is decent. So look at that, see which ones fit your needs, and then go ahead and get that car. I'm not saying the other ones aren't usable. I'm just saying they're not as easy to use. And I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there that show how to use those infotainments if you want to learn more about that. So anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you haven't already, please remember to give a like, a subscribe, hit that hype button, and I will catch you all next time.